Off the couch and walk video. As you guys know, I've been hiking now since the pandemic, so it's been almost 2 years, and I thought I'd give you guys an update on what's going on. So what I've decided to do now is I've decided to start training for more vigorous hikes, and to do that I bought myself all the hiking gear necessary to do overnights. And I thought I would go through my training hike gear just to give you an idea of the things I bought. Not that that's the only thing you can buy, but it was I did a lot of research looking at other YouTube videos, and I think I made some reasonable choices, so I thought I'd share that with you. So to start us off with, this is my backpack. It's a Hyperlight Mountain Gear 4400. And it's about 56 litres, I think, and it weighs about just over 2 pounds, I think. So I'll show you a couple of things I have here, what's on my pack. So I have, for water filtration, of course, I did a lot of research and found that I used the soya filter. It fits onto a smart bottle nice and easily, so you can see this just fits on right there. Now what I've done is I've wrote the word dirty on this water bottle so that I know that that's always going to be using the dirty water. So you have to be careful with that too. I have a 750 ml smart water bottle attached to the front. I got this water holder from Z-Packs. It's extremely light and just clips on to the daisy chain on my belt there. And this one I use for water, of course, but I also use this one especially when I want to rehydrate. So I'll put in electrolyte mix into this one, and I've got that nice and handy there. If I'm doing long stretches of where it's a little dry, I have a 2-litre Platypus bladder, and again this one is for dirty water, and my soya filter fits on this as well, right? So I can fill this up with dirty water, put it in my pack, and then filter it as I'm going along. Okay, on the outside of this I have these disposable towels. I'm not sure if you can see them, but they're called light load towels. They weigh basically nothing, come in packs of 3, and they're lighter than a bandana. They're very quick drying, and of course, more importantly, they're disposable. I know it may not be the coolest thing, but I have a hand sanitizer thing that I have attached to my pack as well, so I can use that to clean my hands afterwards. On the outside of my pack, of course, I keep my big Agnes tent poles. My Nightcore light headlamp. Of course, the obligatory potty gear, right? So I have a nice ultralight trowel in here, along with wipes and some toilet paper, in case you get caught short. I have my sunglasses, which are nice in the summer because they have these side shields on, so it stops the bugs getting into your eyes. What else have I got on the outside here? I think that's a bit about everything, I think. No, I think we're on. Okay, we have the stakes for my big Agnes tent, and I have a little medical kit. I'm not going to go into that in much detail, but of course it's got the obligatory pain medication, a couple of band-aids, and stuff like that. And check on the outside pockets. Oh yeah, on the outside I've got a mosquito net or bug net in case you need that. During the summer it can get pretty bad with bugs. And on the inside I have my my Toke long-handled spoon for when I want to eat. Let's see what's on the inside. I think I've covered everything that's on the outside of my pack. And as you can see, the Hyperlite's got a zip top, so it's really cool to have. So, okay, what have I got inside here? So I keep my water gear on the top close. So I've got all of the connections that came with my soya filter. It's very important to have a spare O-ring for your filter, because sometimes if you screw your filter in too tight, it'll get stuck to the top of your bottle, and then it'll come out, so you might lose it. So you've got to be careful with that. Oh, the other thing too, with your soya, if you're out hiking and it's extremely cold, make sure that you put this in your sleeping bag, because if it freezes, you've basically ruined it. But otherwise, this thing will last forever. That's what the syringe is for. So when you've used this a fair bit, you'll see it's got a flow. So the dirty water comes from this end, comes out of this end. You can basically drink directly out of this if you wish. But sometimes what you need to do is you need to clean your filter, right? So especially if you've been filtering really dirty water that has a lot of sediment in it. So you get your syringe, put it on here, squeeze it through, do that a bunch of times until the water runs clear, and you're ready to go again. For emergency purposes, like I said, I've done a lot of research on what to carry with me as my base weight. So I have these Aqua Tabs. One of those I think it will clean about 3/4 of a litre. So you just dissolve one of them in your dirty water, and I think it takes about 35 minutes or so before you can drink. Now, don't forget though that that's not getting rid of any sediment. So what I would do as a little trick is I would carry a little bit of muslin. So you can get that from any cookery store. It's just you get a sheet of very thin muslin material, and it's very porous. So you can put that over the top of your bottle. Let's say you don't have your filter, right? And you've cleaned your water with your tablet, and it's got a bunch of sediment in there. So what I would do is I'd wrap a piece of muslin cloth across the top with a elastic band, right? And then I could drink directly through, and the muslin would strain out all of the particles and whatever else that you don't want to be really drinking, right? I mean, it's safe enough to drink because the tablets have purified all the water and killed any viruses or anything else that's in there that's bad for you, of course. Anyway, moving on. What do I have on the top of my pack that I can get access to? I have my rain gear. So I have a Montbell rain jacket. This thing weighs nothing, it weighs about an ounce. And I have the Vertice rain pants as well, so they're down in my pack somewhere here. Find those, yeah, they're right here. So these are the outdoor research pants. I know you might be asking, like, why didn't I get the Montbell pants? Well, as you know, because of the supply chain issues, it's very hard to find stuff. So I just went with a reasonable pair of pants, and Outdoor Research has got really nice gear. So these are my Outdoor Research Helium rain pants. Okay, essential. So another thing too is, I don't care if I'm going out and it's 100 degrees. I never go anywhere without the essentials. So every time I go out in my pack, I've always got plenty of water. I always carry my rain gear, and I always carry a puffy. So this is my Outdoor Research Helium puffy. This thing weighs next to nothing and keeps you really warm. On my first overnight, it was so cold. My feet were freezing, so what I did was I wrapped this around my feet inside my sleeping bag, and it kept my feet nice and cozy. Okay, what else have we got in here? Okay, I'm not going to go into this, but this is a small bag that has, you know, I keep my all of my emergency stuff in here, right? Like, so repair stuff for my pads, you know, body glide. So it's basically like a little medical kit. Antibiotic cream, I've got foot cream, I've got all sorts in here. And I also keep all of my electronics in here too. So I don't have that with me at the moment. So I have a, I think it's a 10,000 milliamp Anchor charger that I carry with me, and all that does is powers my phone. I have a Swiss Army knife that my wife bought me a long time ago. I know I can use a really small one, but I really love this, so I kept that. So that's in here. Okay, so there's my my little cooking equipment. So it's a 750 mil. I think it's a toque. Yeah. Yep, 750 mil toque. And I know everyone keeps calling these things luxury items, but you know, don't get hung up on base weight, because the idea right now is to put the stuff in your pack that you're not used to carrying, right? So you're not worrying about weight right now. You're worrying about getting used to carrying a pack. So put as much weight in there as you feel comfortable with. Right now, when this is all packed up together, my pack weighs about 16 pounds. If I add maybe 3 or 4 liters of water, of course that goes up to 22 pounds, because I think last time I put in a pair of water shoes, because the hike I was going to, there was a potential of the rivers being impassable. So I thought the best thing to do was to take my water shoes. I could take off my boots and my socks, put those water shoes on, and then walk across. But anyway, so this is a collapsible cup. It's nice to be able to drink a coffee while you're actually eating, right? So I can eat my dried food, or I can cook in my cooking system. So inside of my cooking pot, of course, I have the obligatory bandana. So that's for cleaning out the pot after you've used it, right? This was just something I got from Amazon. It's not the latest thing there, but it's it's really good. So I use that, and a small gas canister, and the obligatory lighter. So in case this does have a, I think it's a piezo electric lighter on it. So you press it, it gives it a spark and lights this. But if the worst thing comes to worst and that doesn't work, I've got the lighter. So like I said, everything here fits into my toque. So I can just push everything in. My lighter, my stove head, wrap everything up. It doesn't fit exactly right, because you've got to put it back into this canister. And then that goes on top, and your lid, and away you go. So that's your cooking system. I'm not talking about weights and everything like that. Like, you can see that on millions of other videos. I'm just telling you what I'm carrying now to start my training, because I want to start doing longer hikes. I'm up to, well, actually, when I first started, so let's think about that. When I first started, I was walking half a mile, if I could even do that. And that's with like a day pack and a little bit of water, because just like everyone else during the pandemic, I gained a ton of weight. Since then, I've lost over 40 pounds hiking. I've gone from hiking just on the flat, like an old disused railway line, to 12-mile hikes, some rigorous hikes too. So I've hiked basically every trail in this area within like an hour and a half, and I'm up to 10 to 12 mile loops now. So my next step is to extend that and to try and do something like 20 miles, do overnights, and get used to doing, you know, 1 or 2 nights in my tent. Okay, what else have I got here? Aha. Okay, so I have a big Agnes 2-person tent. I like this thing. It's got tons of room in it, and it's a good starter tent. Now you might say, well, why didn't you get lighter tents? Well, you can if you want to spend $750 upwards to $1,000 for a pure Dyneema single wall tent. But I didn't want a single wall tent, right? I wanted just something that has an outer layer. So you got an outer, like they call a fly sheet. So you got the inner piece that's like a bug netting type of mesh where you sleep in, and then on the outside you have the water fly. And I like the idea of having you know, that sort of extra layer there, just to reduce condensation, because on the single wall Dyneema tents you tend to get a lot of condensation. Inside of here too, if I remember rightly, I bought the big Agnes Fly Sheet. I know if you want to go ultra light you wouldn't do that, right? You'd buy some like Tyvek sheet, which weighs next to nothing. But like I said, I'm not worried about base weight right now. I'm worried about just getting the basic essentials and make sure that I'm used to carrying it. I know how to use all this stuff, and I'm just training. Okay, so what else have I got here? So, like most people do, inside of my pack here, I have a, I don't know if you can see this, but I have a contractor bag. So when I bought these contractor bags, they came in boxes of like 50, so I think I've got pack liners for the rest of my life and the rest of my kids' lives too. So everything that you don't want to get wet, you want to put inside your bag. Now this particular bag is made, I think it's Dyneema or GCF, I think it's all the same thing. And it's supposed to be waterproof, but because of the stitching, you might get some water coming into the bag, maybe only a very little, but enough to wet like your sleeping bag or whatever else, so you don't want that. So just as an insurance policy, you know, you put a pack liner in. It doesn't have to be a bag, you can buy a special pack liner if you want, but why do that when you can buy plastic bags and throw them away when you're done? Okay, so inside my bag, like I said, I'm putting everything that I don't want to get wet. So this is my my Cedar Summit Etherlite XT. I got the regular wide. I've only used this once, and to be honest, I really like it. It's really good for a side sleeper, and because it was my first overnight hike I did a couple of weeks back, I was really nervous, so I slept very little, so I was tossing and turning. This thing was really comfortable. And so I would definitely recommend this. The nice thing about it is it doesn't have that sort of silver foil in the middle of this, so you don't get that sort of like crisp bag noise when you're moving around. And it's got a built-in pump sack in this, so your stuff sack turns into a pump sack. So it's all in one. So I like this, and of course I showed you before in my little ditty bag there that it came with patches, so repair patches. So like, I mean, it doesn't matter what pad you use. You know, if you put it on a rough surface, there is a potential for it to get popped. So you should always carry a repair kit. If not a repair kit, carry a little bit of duct tape. Okay, so that's my sleeping pad. So what do I sleep in? Now, I didn't go out and buy a sleeping bag because I already had one from hiking we did years ago. So I thought I would use this, and so far that's what I'm going to do. So my advice to anybody is, if you're starting off like I am, and you want to get into this bit, but you're not really sure if you're going to like it, don't go nuts and go out and buy thousands of dollars worth of gear. Whatever you have, use, and then whatever you need, just buy slowly. So what I didn't go out and buy all this stuff at once. I did my day hikes using my day pack, and I did that for almost a year. And along the way, I started picking up little bits and bobs. The key to all of this is doing as much research as you can and seeing what other hikers are using. You don't have to use what they're using, of course, but at least it gives you an idea of not maybe the best things, but what everyone's using, right? And then you can make your own decision. You can try it out. The good thing is, if you buy your stuff from REI, which is what I do with most of my gear, you have a year return policy. So if you try it and you don't like it, or in fact you don't like overnighting, you can basically take all this gear back. So anyway, this was just an old Marmot sleeping bag I had, so I used that, and it's the Marmot Sawtooth, and this goes down to -9. I know a lot of you guys are going to say, yeah, but what are you going to do in the summer when it's really, really hot? Well, what I did was I bought a, if I can find this thing, I bought a silk liner. And your ultralight freaks are going to say, oh, but you're adding more weight, Well, like I said, I don't care about weight right now, I'm caring about comfort. And I thought that if I bought a silk liner, that it would be a lot easier to come home after a couple of days hiking or a week's hiking or wherever and wash this thing than it is to wash a down sleeping bag, because it takes a lot of work to wash this thing. You can't just throw it in a washing machine. There's a lot of work to do with this. You might have to take it into a dry cleaner and have them do it for you, because otherwise there's a potential to ruin this thing, and they're not cheap. Okay, so that's that. That's my silk liner, like I said, another REI special. What else do I carry? So I always carry not too much clothing with me, but this thing came in handy. Like I said, I did my first overnight and I didn't realize how cold it was going to be. It was below freezing, and so I was wearing everything. I had my hiking clothes on, I had warm underwear, and this fleece came in handy, and it's just a North Face fleece. It's really, really, really light, but it's just another added layer of warmth in case you need it. What else have I got in here? Oh yeah, I've got my a Hike inflatable pillow. So I mean, I can show you quickly. I'm not sure if you've seen these before, but it's just it's a nice inflatable pillow that you just blow up. Cool thing about this is it has a nice little strap on it, right? So you can put that around your pad. When your pad is blown up, you can wrap this around your pad. And it's hopefully, it did move a little bit when I was out, but it didn't move that much. And it has this nice fleecy side to it. And this is the rough side that you don't want to sleep on. And you just blow this up using your mouth. Of course, it doesn't have an extra pump sack, nothing for this thing. And I think that is everything. Let me just make sure. Yeah, that's everything. Now, with everything out, this pack, I mean, look at this, it weighs nothing. So far, I love this pack. It's got so many different compression straps to it. It's got, the daisy chain stuff on the back. I did add a couple of homemade loops. I can show you those. So you can see these little loops here. So if you go onto, I think the Z-Packs website, if you look at my water bottle carrier here, I don't know if you can see it, but I bought these little thin, I don't know what you call them, tie locks or whatever they're called, but they've got a compression spring inside of here, so you can make a little loop and then you can lock it down. And I use them to keep my water bottle from sliding around. But what I did was, I went onto Amazon, of course, everyone's favorite place to go, and I found a bunch of those locks, and it came with I think it was 6 yards of like shock cord, I think you call this, right? So what I did was I just made my own, and those ones from Z-Packs, I think they were $1.99 each, right? So for $6.99 I got 50 of these things, of these locks. I don't know if you see them, and I got 6 yards of this compression strap. So I made my own, and I can put them on my pack, and I can use them for anything else. You know, any additional stuff I want to hang off, you know, the back of my pack. You know, if you want to put your socks in there, or you want to hang something off. What I was thinking of doing was, if I make these wide, if I make another couple longer and wider, I can actually use them to put my trekking poles in when I'm not using them. But you still want trekking poles, of course. That's everything. It comes with a really cool side pockets. It's got 2, one on each side. And of course I always carry lots of bars. Even if I'm going on a day hike, I always make sure that I've got something with me, some food in case there's an issue. So it's got two big pouches. And yeah, so that's it. I don't know if you can see this, but I use this Liquid V. It's a hydration multiplier. I got these from Costco. They're expensive. You get about $44, I think, for about 40 of these things. But you can get cheaper ones. I think you can get Gatorade equivalents to these online. I think they're only about $14 for about 30 or so of these. So it's a lot cheaper to get the Gatorade ones, but Gatorade's got a lot of sugar in it, right? So I got this because it's more to replenish the minerals that you lose when you're sweating. It's not meant to give you an energy boost. If you want that, then you could, I guess you could mix this one and also put a Gatorade one in. So the Gatorade will give you a little bit of sugar, of course, give you that added boost and help you get up the trail a little bit better. So guys, I think that's everything. What I didn't show you was the thing that I was actually sitting on when I was talking to you. So this is like a recycled, what do you call a sit pad. I got this from REI. It's made by Nemo. Of course, you can go out and buy Thermarest ones, and you know I don't know if they're any better, but they're more expensive. And this thing was really comfortable too. What else do I carry with me when I go? So guys, what other things do I carry? So I did like I said, I've done a ton of research, and I've seen all these people throwing up bear bags everywhere they go. And I've heard horror stories about things getting caught in trees and people just not knowing how to use them, because you get very little practice unless you're out there doing it, right? So I did a little bit of research, and I opted for the Air Sac. This is a bear-proof Air Sac. Okay, it doesn't mean it won't get damaged. It is a possibility, but it's supposed to be bear resistant or bear proof, right? So it's made out of some ballistic material that's bulletproof. And if you tie this to a tree, keep your food in, It's supposed to keep away all the critters. I did use it on my first overnight. There was no bears around there, but I acted as though there were, so I made sure that this was a good distance away from where I was sleeping, and I had everything in here. So when you go to sleep at night, you make sure everything is in your food bag, right? All your fragrance stuff, your toothpaste, your deodorant, if you carry deodorant when you're doing hiking. You don't have to. Anything that's got a fragrance you would put inside of here, including your food. Okay, so that's what I use. That's what I've chosen to use. Of course, some people might say I'm crazy and you should be hanging your food, but this is what I'm going to be doing. Now, why did I do that? I did a bunch of research and I realized that this is a damn sight easier to find a tree with a offset limb that's maybe 6 foot off the ground that I can tie this to away from camp and really not worry about it, right? I don't have to march around trying to find a suitable tree that's 12 foot off the ground, the limb's 6 feet away from the tree, and then you've got to decide how are you going to hang it? Are you going to use a PCT method, or are you going to use just hang it from have the line going to another tree? So anyway, this is what I decided to do. So this is a bulletproof, bear resistant bag. Okay, what's the downfall of this? It's not waterproof. That sucks, but some things you just got to deal with, right? So to avoid getting all your food soaked, what I use is basically, I think it's called an Op Sac. It's supposed to be odor resistant. I mean, bears can smell food from miles away. I mean, they've got a better sensory perception than dogs, right? So if you think of a bloodhound, I mean, they're the most famous animals that can smell anything, right? They can track things from miles. Well, a bear's got probably 100 times better sensory perception than a bloodhound. So I doubt if, keeping your food inside of a big Ziploc bag inside of here is going to help much. But anyway, that's what I chose to do. I didn't do it because I thought it would stop the bears from smelling the food, even though I was hoping that that's what would happen. I was using it because this thing is not waterproof. Okay, so you've got to make sure that whatever you put in here, it's not going to get soaked. It is possible though that if a bear goes at this, it's not going to get your food, right? It's not going to get your food. But what's going to happen is it's going to crush everything. So if you've got stuff in here that's got liquid in there, like liquid tuna or liquid chicken or some bags like that, it is a potential that that's going to leak all over here. So think about that before you buy this, of course. And this is what I keep all my food in. I might make a separate video later on to tell you, the food that I take on like an overnight or a couple of days trip. But just to give you an idea of a couple of things I really do like. These are not cheap. I know you can make your own dehydrated food, and I know you can buy cheaper stuff, and you can buy a lot of junk that you can eat. But I thought that at the end of a good day's hiking, a hard day's hiking, I want at least one hot meal. So I'll always bring a dehydrated meal for dinner. I can eat as much crap as I want during the day, Snickers bars and other sorts of junk. But these are a few of my favorites. This is the Peak Refuel. It says it serves 2. And initially I was thinking I was going to split this in half and then put them in a separate baggie until I realized how hungry you are after you've hiked 10 miles. This is nothing, right? So this thing has 870 calories. And just to give you an idea, you burn about 2,200 calories in a 12-mile hike. So think about that before you start worrying about, how much food you're going to eat while you're hiking. Just eat, you'll burn it off. Couple of my favorites are the chicken Alfredo, which is really, really good and popular. I haven't tried this one yet, but it looks really good. This is the chicken coconut curry. But this one is really good for breakfast, guys. So, if you like us I live in the southern states, so I live in Indiana, and we're used to our biscuits and sausage gravy. And that's what this thing has. And when you're thinking about buying food, you want high calorie foods because, like I said, when you're out there hiking for multiple days, you don't want to be worrying about dieting. That's not a time to diet. Just to give you an idea, this is just one meal during the day. If you ate this whole package, this is 1,100 calories, right? So the average person on a diet, let's say, if you wanted to lose 2 to 3 pounds a week, would be on a 1,500 calorie diet. So this thing is 1,100 calories for one meal, just to give you an idea. So that's basically everything, guys. If you have any questions or any comments for me, please drop them in the comments section below, because like I said, I'm new just like you guys. I'm new to this. This is my first experience with getting myself ready for longer hikes. So any advice from the hiking community would be very much appreciated. As I go, I'll trim down stuff just to try and make things lighter. But what I noticed when I came back from my last hike, I did a bit of a shakedown hike. Like I said, I did my first overnight, and I came back and I went through all of this gear to try and find out what I didn't use, and there was nothing I didn't use. So I'm happy in the sense that my base weight is everything I'm actually using. There's nothing superfluous here. I mean, of course, I wasn't using, like, you know, my repair kit or, you know, band-aids or, you know, painkillers or whatever stuff like that you would use that I'm carrying that adds a little tiny bit of weight, okay? So, I mean, you're not always going to be using your safety stuff, right? But you've always got to carry that anyway. So thanks, guys, for watching, and until next time, when in doubt, get off the couch and walk.